You are probably bleeding money on things that used to make perfect financial sense. Not because you are bad with money, because the math changed, and nobody sent you the update. 10 years ago, a new car was a reasonable purchase. A financial advisor was smart to have. A whole life insurance policy felt responsible. Today, those same decisions can quietly drain hundreds of thousands of dollars from your future. And most people have no idea, because these things still feel completely normal. Today, we are going through 10 things that used to make sense and now just make you poor. With real numbers, not vibes, numbers. I'm Mr. Blobski. My tie has been losing value since I bought it, but at least I knew that going in. Let's go. Buying a new car has always had financial downsides. Everyone knows about depreciation. Drive it off the lot, lose 20%. Classic. But in 2025, something changed that turned a bad deal into a genuinely terrible one. Interest rates. From 2010 to 2021, average new car loan rates sat between 4 and 5%. Today, the average new car loan rate is 8.1%. On a $45,000 truck, the current average new vehicle price in America, financed over 72 months, you will pay $9,400 in interest alone. Before insurance, before gas, before the first oil change. Here is the number that should make your eye twitch. That same $45,000 invested in an S&P 500 index fund at the historical average of 10% annually becomes $73,000 in 6 years. Instead, you drove a depreciating asset to work every day and handed $9,000 to a bank for the privilege. The car did not get worse, the loan did. One more number. The average American with a car loan pays it off and immediately takes out another one. The median time between paying off one car loan and starting the next is 4 months. 4 months of freedom before the cycle starts again. The dealership counts on this. They have your trade-in history, your credit score, and a follow-up call scheduled before you have made your first payment. The exit from this loop is not impossible. It just requires buying a car that you actually own outright before the next one enters the picture. You order dinner on DoorDash. The restaurant charges $12 for your meal. Here is what you actually pay. Delivery fee, $3.99. Service fee, $2.80. Small order fee, $1.99. Surge pricing because it is a Tuesday, $1.50. Tip, because the driver is a human being, $3. Total, $24.28 for a $12 meal. That is a 102% markup. The food arrives lukewarm in a bag that has been sitting on someone's passenger seat for 11 minutes. Multiply that by frequency. The average American who uses delivery apps orders 4 to 5 times per month. At $24 average versus $12 for the same food picked up, that is $576 to $720 per year handed to a venture capital-funded app in exchange for not standing up. Delivery apps are not a food expense. They are a convenience tax. And unlike a real tax, this one is completely optional. And that is before we talk about what delivery apps do to the restaurant itself. DoorDash and Uber Eats charge restaurants between 15 and 30% commission on every order. Many restaurants raise their in-app prices by 10 to 15% just to survive the commission. So you are paying 100% markup on a price that is already inflated. The restaurant is making less. You are paying more. The only winner is the app. Mr. Blobski picks up his own food. His tie flaps in the wind, and he considers it cardio. Here is a fact the marketing industry spends billions to prevent you from thinking about. Generic and store-brand products at major retailers are, in a significant percentage of cases, manufactured in the same facilities as the name-brand versions. Consumer Reports has tested store-brand foods and household products for decades and consistently found minimal to zero quality difference in the majority of categories. The price difference is not minimal. Name-brand ibuprofen, around $10 for 200 tablets. Generic, Same active ingredient, same dosage, $3.49. Name brand pasta, $2.20. Store brand, 98 cents. Name brand dish soap, $4.79. Store brand, $1.99. A 2023 study by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis found that switching to generic across an average American grocery cart saves 25 to 40% on total grocery spend. The average household spends $5,000 a year on groceries. A 25% reduction is $1,250 annually, saved, by buying the identical product in a different box. The brand name does not make the medicine work better. It makes the marketing budget bigger. There are two types of financial advisors. A fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. A commission-based advisor is only required to recommend products that are suitable for you, a meaningfully lower bar. Most people cannot tell which one they have. Here is why it matters enormously. The most common fee structure is 1% of assets under management annually. 1% sounds harmless. Here is what 1% actually costs over time. You invest $500,000. Your advisor charges 1% per year. Over 30 years at 7% market growth, your portfolio grows to approximately $3.8 million. But without the 1% fee, using a low-cost index fund at 0.03%, like Vanguard's VOO, that same money grows to $4.2 million. The difference? $400,000. Gone. To fees. On money that was already yours. And that assumes your advisor is simply holding an index fund. Many commission-based advisors actively recommend higher fee products, annuities, whole life insurance, actively managed funds, because those pay higher commissions. The product is suitable. It is just not optimal for you. The fix: find a fee-only fiduciary at napfa.org. They charge a flat or hourly rate with no incentive to sell you anything specific. Quick question: how many streaming subscriptions do you currently pay for? Think of a number. Now, how many do you actually use every week? A 2024 survey found that the average American household pays for 4.2 streaming services and actively uses 2.1 of them. Half. They are paying for double what they watch. The math at current prices: Netflix without ads is $22.99. Disney Plus is $13.99. Hulu, $17.99. Max, $15.99. Apple TV, $9.99. 4 services puts you at $60 to $70 monthly. That is $720 to $840 a year. For television, you chose. The original promise of streaming was that it would be cheaper than cable. In 2025, 4 streaming services cost roughly the same as a basic cable package in 2018. The disruption disrupted itself. The fix is simple: rotate. Watch one service for 2 months, cancel, move to the next. The content will still be there when you rotate back. You do not need simultaneous access to everything in case something good comes out. Something good will still exist in April. There is also a subscription audit most people never do. Go to your bank statement right now and search the word subscription. You will almost certainly find something you forgot about. A meditation app you used for 2 weeks. A news site you signed up for to read 1 article. A cloud storage plan from 4 phones ago. The average American has 2.4 forgotten subscriptions running at any given time, totaling around $32 per month. That is $384 per year going to apps you have not opened since the Obama administration. Mr. Blobski currently subscribes to 0 streaming services and watches the stock market instead. He describes this as equally dramatic and significantly more actionable. The iPhone 15 and the iPhone 13 do the same things. I know this is a controversial statement. Let's be specific about what those things are. You use your phone to send messages, scroll social media, take photos, make calls, use maps, and run apps. Every iPhone from the 11 onwards does all of that at a quality level that is indistinguishable in daily use. The camera on the 15 is measurably better in a lab test. In a dim restaurant photographing your pasta, the difference is invisible. The financial math on the 2-year upgrade cycle. iPhone 15 Pro, $1,199. Upgrade every 2 years, roughly $600 per year in phone cost. Over 10 years, $6,000. Alternative, buy a 2-year-old iPhone in excellent condition for $200. Use it for 4 years. Annual cost, $50. Over 10 years, $500. The 10-year difference, $5,500. Invested at 10% annually, $8,900. $9,000. Because the camera you already had took photos in slightly lower resolution. Tech companies have spent enormous resources engineering the feeling that your current device is already obsolete. It is not. It is a supercomputer in your pocket. It does not need to be replaced because a slightly newer supercomputer exists. The extended warranty is one of the most profitable products in retail. Not for you, for the store. The average retail markup on an extended warranty is 50 to 60%. If the warranty costs you $300, the store's actual expected cost of honoring claims is around $120 to $150. The other $150 is pure margin. This is why the checkout cashier asks you about it every single time. They are incentivized, significantly. Consumer Reports found that in most product categories, the cost of the warranty equals or exceeds the cost of the repair it would cover. You are prepaying for a repair at full retail price, plus the store's margin, plus the program's administrative cost. The smarter move, a personal warranty fund. Every time you are offered an extended warranty, decline it and deposit that exact amount into a dedicated savings account. Over a few years, you will have a self-funded repair budget that covers actual repairs without paying 60% margin to a retailer for the privilege of maybe needing it. There are 2 kinds of life insurance. Term covers you for a specific period, 10, 20, 30 years, and pays your beneficiaries if you die during that term. A healthy 30-year-old can get $500,000 of 20-year coverage for $25 to $30 per month. Whole life covers you permanently and includes a savings component called cash value. It sounds better. Here is the math. A comparable whole life policy for the same 30-year-old, $250 to $400 per month, 10 times the cost of term. The cash value grows at 2 to 4% annually. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 has averaged 10% annually for 50 years. The correct comparison is term versus term plus invest the difference. Buy the $25 term policy. Invest the remaining $225 monthly into a low-cost index fund for 20 years. Result? Approximately $170,000. The whole life cash value over the same period, typically $40,000 to $60,000. Whole life insurance serves a specific purpose in high net worth estate planning. For most Americans, it is a below-market savings product with a high commission rate sold by advisors who earn significantly more on it than on term policies. The math tells you which one benefits whom. The 2 best days of a boat owner's life are the day he buys the boat and the day he sells it. This is not a joke. This is collective lived experience distilled into one sentence. Here is why. Annual ownership costs on an average 20-foot recreational boat, excluding the purchase price. Storage, $2,400 to $4,000 per year. Insurance, $1,000. Maintenance and winterization, $2,000. Fuel, a 150 horsepower outboard burns 10 gallons per hour at cruising speed. At $4 per gallon, 2 hours on the water is $80 in fuel alone. Registration and miscellaneous fees, $300. Total annual operating cost, roughly $6,000 to $8,000. Plus depreciation, a $40,000 boat is worth around $22,000 after 5 years. Spread that $18,000 loss over 5 years and add it to operating costs, $10,000 to $12,000 per year to own the boat. Average usage, 18 days per year according to marina surveys. Cost per day on the water, over $500 before you account for purchase depreciation. Boat rentals cost $400 to $800 for a full day. You could rent a boat 20 times a year for less than ownership costs, while someone else handles the storage, the winterization, and the broken bilge pump at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. Mr. Blobski has never owned a boat. He has also never spent $600 on a rainy Tuesday in September with a broken engine. He considers this a success. A plain white t-shirt from a mid-range brand costs $15 to $25. The same white t-shirt with a small Gucci logo costs $490. The cotton is not better. The stitching is not $465 better. You are buying the signal. The ability to show other people that you paid $490 for a t-shirt. Here is the uncomfortable truth about that signal. A 2023 study in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that high-status individuals were more likely to associate visible luxury branding with lower actual wealth and less sophisticated financial thinking. The people you are dressing to impress are, on average, reading the logo as a sign of financial insecurity, not success. This pattern has been documented consistently. Actual high-net-worth individuals, the top 5% by wealth, not income, are significantly less likely to wear visible brand logos than upper-middle-income individuals trying to project wealth. The Millionaire Next Door documented this in the 90s. Nothing has changed. What you spend on clothing that you would not spend if no one could see the label is, by definition, a social performance expense. The most expensive audience in the world to perform for is strangers who will not remember you tomorrow. Here is the practical reframe. Before any clothing purchase over $100, ask one question. Would I still buy this if the logo were removed and replaced with a blank label? If the answer is no, if the object's appeal is entirely dependent on other people seeing the brand, then you are not buying clothing. You are buying an advertisement for yourself, at your own expense, targeting an audience that is mostly indifferent. That is a valid choice. It is just an expensive one. And it is worth being honest that it is what you are doing. Here's what connects all 10 of these. None of them feel like mistakes when you make them. A new car, delivery dinner, a name brand product, a streaming service. These are not extravagant decisions. They are Tuesday decisions. The background hum of a normal American financial life. That is exactly why they are dangerous. A catastrophically bad one-time decision is easy to recognize. Death by 1,000 Tuesdays is much harder to see coming. The pattern is the same across all 10. There was a moment when each of these things made sense. Then the math changed. Interest rates changed. Markups changed. Business models changed. The products stayed. The marketing stayed. The habit stayed. But the value proposition quietly disappeared, and nobody updated the memo. You do not have to live like a monk. You do not have to eat rice and beans in a studio apartment to build wealth. You just have to periodically check your assumptions against the actual current numbers, not the numbers that made sense 5 years ago. Because the economy updates constantly, your understanding of what is reasonable should too. I'm Mr. Blobski. I have not upgraded my phone, bought a boat, or tipped a delivery app since the interest rate crossed 5%. My portfolio has not complained. Subscribe if you want to keep running the numbers that most people are too comfortable to look at. Class dismissed.